I was very interested to hear about the nurse from Sweden who was selected to be the only attendee at Scandinavia's biggest film festival this year. The Gothenburg Film Festival has chosen to go ahead despite the pandemic and selected the Swedish nurse Lisa Enroth from around 12,000 applicants to spend a week on this remote island, Pater Noster, watching every single film. And she said this: "In healthcare, I seem to have spent ages listening, testing, and consoling. I feel like I'm drained of energy. The wind, the sea, the possibility of being part of a totally different kind of reality for a week, all this is really attractive." Apparently, she was invited to keep a daily video diary that would appear on the festival's website. The Gothenburg Film Festival this year is anything but conventional. No crowds, no parties, no sold-out cinemas, no bubbles, no small groups. Just one person there, that's all. Just one. And this year's film festival focus is called Social Distances, which explores the new world in the wake of the pandemic. What does film mean to us when we are so isolated from everything and everyone? To explore that question, they decided to open a brand new cinema, not in a town, not in a village, but in the middle of the ocean, completely, utterly isolated. The island of Pater Noster is inaccessibly located at the very edge of the archipelago in one of Sweden's most barren, windswept locations. The chosen person, Lisa, certainly a film enthusiast, has worked incredibly hard as an emergency nurse on the front line in the fight against COVID-19, doing incredible, amazing work alongside the many other nurses and doctors and frontline workers that many of us know, doing an incredible, amazing job right across the world. You may well know someone who works so incredibly hard in this field and literally makes an incredible difference to other people. They are each to be applauded. Lisa is to be applauded, and how brilliant, how wonderful that she was selected out of 12,000 people. So she did indeed keep a video diary, sharing her experiences. And after 7 days on the island, she became more and more quiet. And she said, "I've never done so many sit-ups in my life, and I've never been left so alone. Without my cell phone, I couldn't Google stuff." And then she went on to say, in her last video diary, "I could stay here for another week. Can I stay for another week?" And then she said, "Perhaps I will try to do this at home, trying to isolate myself at home with books or paintings or movies, and perhaps I will again feel that my mind is getting more and more quiet. It's a nice feeling, a bit more peaceful, but then again, maybe not. I need my friends and my family, and as soon as I can, I will call my Father. And I suggest that you do the same, or call someone that you love, or the one that you miss and that you think about. Just call them. Do it. You can't do any harm. My first reaction when I heard about Lisa and listened to some of her video diary was, oh, can I go? I really want to go. To combine my obsession, my fanatical obsession with film, alongside being somewhere so remote. It's quite enticing. Anyway, this film festival ended at the weekend, so it's too late. It's too late for me now. You would think perhaps that being on a remote island would be the very last thing that I would want to do. You might say, you know, life is quiet enough. It's far too quiet as it is. There's not enough going on. I need to be doing more, seeing more people, being more active. You might well assume that. And yet, strangely, really quite oddly, and it almost feels like a paradox, being locked down can be really quite exhausting. I'm sure that's the case for many of you as well. Some people have said to me, you know, Darren, I've never felt so busy. I've never been so active, going from one place to another, going from one Zoom meeting to another, from Zoom to Microsoft Teams, to Zoom, to homeschooling, back to Zoom, to making a cup of tea, to Zoom, and then finally to bed. So I long for peace and quiet and almost nothingness. Lord, just give me a bit of peace. Give me a bit of quiet, we may well say. Let me escape. Let me escape to that remote island, far, far away, where all I need to do is to worry about fish and lobster and the sound of the waves crashing on the shore and watching film after film after film. Just the sea and 70 film premieres. Wonderful. Heaven. And yet it is also a dangerous place. Since the beginning of time, of course, seafarers have feared those waters. The Lord's Prayer has been repeated countless times as ships entered that dangerous archipelago that form the Pater Noster Islands on the Swedish west coast. The lighthouse is actually located on the tiny island of Hamneskar outside Marstrand on the Swedish west coast. And the hazardous waters surrounding the island have been feared for centuries. Seafarers used to read the Lord's Prayer, would recite it, Our Father, Pater Noster, in Latin, when the ships would struggle, when the ships would approach these dangerous reefs. The lighthouse itself was constructed in 1868 and given the name Pater Noster as a tribute to the sailors' prayers. The lighthouse, bringing hope, bringing security, bringing reassurance in the middle of the worst that the waves could do. The lighthouse, bringing certainty, bringing comfort, bringing safety in the middle of the worst that life seems to throw at us. Wherever we are, whatever life seems to bring to us, whatever the depths of our despair, remember the lighthouse. The lighthouse, God, bringing hope, offering that hiding place in the midst of our storms and our waves, in the midst of our troubles and concerns. Wherever we are, even in the waters, and if the waters are rising and getting ever higher, you, Lord, are my hiding place, my hope, and my life.
Alleluia.